Hi, I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. Okay, today I have another project update video for you. I will be sharing finished objects and works in progress. I don't have any acquisitions today, but if you didn't catch my last project update video, I will put a link to that so you can see what I've been working on and then what I have started in the past 2 weeks. Oh, I didn't do my intro. I'm Hannah. I'm a mom and a knitter, and I live in North Carolina with my husband and our son, and it's hot here right now. Currently, August is kind of the hottest month for us, I would say. It's starting to get kind of unbearable, I would say. This week we hit a new high. The heat index was 115 and Fahrenheit, and so yeah, that was pretty high. Not a lot of wearing knits, but a lot of time to make knits. So I have been looking forward to fall cast-ons, but I finished one last summer tee, and that is what I am wearing. I didn't have this in the last video because I hadn't cast on yet. Honestly, I don't even know if I had planned to make it when I filmed the last video, but I was sort of under the weather this last week. I did not really leave my room for 2 or 3 days. My husband and son went to the beach and I was just at home. I posted on Instagram a finished object picture, but basically it was a pity party kind of cast on. I was feeling bad for myself for not being able to go to the beach. So I cast on this sweater and I was determined to finish it. And sometimes it's hard to knit when you're not feeling well, but I was just telling myself you can do this. I just wanted to look at my phone or something, but I also, the desire to redeem the time spent away from my family was greater, and so I made this t-shirt and I love it. I will show you, stand up and show you. If you can see the stripes, they're actually 2 different colors, and the back, I'm wearing it with some little khakis. Not tall enough, there we go. Yeah, so I love it. This is the Tolsta Tee by Rebecca of the Colorway Knitting Podcast. I'm sure you've heard of her. If you haven't, she's on YouTube, on Instagram, everything. This is the lightweight version, so it's made with fingering weight. I followed the pattern pretty to pattern. The only modifications I made were I cast on a size 3 for the neck when I intended to knit a size 2 because I wanted it to be a little bit lower than in the pictures, the ones that I saw. So even with that modification, it's still pretty high up, but I noticed some of the test knitters were pretty high, which I think it's supposed to be kind of a ringer tee, casual t-shirt. Most of the mods look like that. And so anyway, I cast on the 3, knit to the size 2. She has that mentioned in the pattern modification sheet that she gives. So it's very comprehensive pattern. She goes through the DK weight version, fingering weight version, and then she describes most of the mods that her testers made if you wanted to kind of copy one of the patterns, which I really appreciated. You're basically getting 2 patterns for the price of one, with a bunch of different ideas. She has a mood board, so I liked that a lot. I will say maybe it is bunching here because of the way the raglan is shaped. I think it's because the body has slightly more ease than the sleeves, at least on me, and so that is fine though. I think I'm just nitpicking it because I really like it. My clothes that are ready to wear, they never fit and I just wear them. So I don't know why I'm so hyper focused on this little gapping here. I used some Autumn and Indigo local fingering, and the color I used was Summer Gold. So they had a discontinuing or going out of business sort of sale maybe a year and a half ago, maybe. So I got this yellow, and I also got this purple, which is what I was looking at, from that sale. So I don't know if anyone else does this, please let me know, but I wanted to buy a sweater's quantity, but I also didn't want to go over my budget for my yarn for that month. And so I only bought 2 of the yellow and I bought 2 of these purples. So the purples are like smaller. This is 250 yards. The yellow was like 425 maybe yards. And then it was a year and a half ago. And so, you know, things change. Your size changes, whatever. And so I am really, in the new year, when I am buying yarn again for myself, I really want to commit to either buying the full sweaters quantity or just not buying it at all and saying, I'm gonna pass since I can't buy the whole thing. Because having 3/4 of a sweater's quantity for me is not helpful because I don't usually make tees. Like I wanted it to be for a sweater. I thought I would use them together for a colorwork sweater, so I will give myself a little bit of a pass there because I intended to make a colorwork sweater with it, but I changed my mind after getting it. And so anyway, that's just kind of relating to all of the sweaters quantities that I have in my yarn pantry right now. Is they're not really full sweaters quantities. They are 3/4 because I'm bad at, you know, measuring my size, and 2, I just don't ever buy enough. So 2024 Hannah will be buying the correct amount of yarn for her sweaters. All of that to say, I am very happy with how this project turned out. And I would have had enough to make long sleeves, but my sister convinced me to make the short sleeves because I always say, oh, I want to make a t-shirt, and then I make it into a long sleeve. Like I have 2 cumulus blouse tees that I have lengthened the sleeves on and made full length sweaters. So anyway, I am really happy with this. The contrast colors I used were from the Woolberry retreat. That was last year, I believe. I attended that with my sister. It was virtual, but we attended and watched that. And so it came with a sock set and 2 minis. So there was a cream one and a pink one. So the funny thing is I let her husband use my white one in a pair of socks to finish them up. And so he gave me some of that back. And then I used all of my pink one and then used some of her pink one in this as well. So I kind of wanted the stripes to be all the way. I started them all the way, but I realized I would not have enough yarn. So I frogged it immediately, recast on with this look. And I like it. It's a different vibe than like the ringer kind of tee, but I'm still really happy with the stripes on it. I really like this sort of low contrast stripe where you can see I have the white first and then 2 pinks. I've seen that a lot on Instagram lately, and I really like it. Almost gives like a variegated or a marled look, but when you look at it closely, you can tell they're 2 different colors. So overall, really happy with it. I modified it to have the folded over hems, which is kind of like a classic for me at this point. If I can fold it over and sew it down, then that is the option I would choose. I did that for the neckline and for the hem and the sleeves. And I don't have any issues with like it gapping or anything like that. All my project notes are surprisingly on Ravelry. So my Ravelry store and personal Ravelry are in the description. So you can see like what I did, and I wrote it all down. I did go up a needle size to meet the gauge, and I'm really happy with the fabric. I think I'd like to make another one with this, and I have some white, just like very basic, I think it's Cascade sock maybe, and make a purple and white striped one. I think I'd have to do the stripes like the whole way because I don't think I would have enough. But I think I'm gonna make it exactly the same as this one because I really like the fit, and this yarn feels so good. I really wish it wasn't discontinued. Maybe it's just this color that's discontinued. I don't really know because I looked online and you can still buy their yarn in some places. So I don't know. I should do some research on it, or I don't know. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. Okay, finished object number 1. I have another finished object. I shared last week about a hat I was making for myself, and mostly I was like, oh, I'm gonna run out of yarn because I just used yarn that was already in my yarn pantry, and I did not run out of yarn. I am very happy with it. I have a clip in my hair, and so it's not going over that in the back, but yeah, overall, I don't know if you can see. I really like it. I love how the colors turned out, and the brioche. And here, if you can see that. Oh yeah, so pretty. Like due to the yarn, not because of my knitting or anything. I used Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Cashmere for the pink, and then the outside is Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Suri in the colorway October. So both of these were left from knitting my mom a pair of socks, and this is all of the berry cashmere I had left. If you'll notice at the top, I ran out and had to just use the Suri to complete it, but I don't think you can tell. And yeah, it's not very tight. It's super loose. When I blocked it, like pulled it this way a lot. It grew a lot, which is what I was hoping for with brioche. And I am very happy with it because I don't really like my hats to be super tight. And it's also not super hot. It's very light and fluffy, and I think it'll keep me warm. And it is what I was hoping it would be. And so that is always just a really good feeling, especially when you're not using a pattern and you're just like going for it. I did mention in my last podcast that I wanted to buy a US 6 to make this, and then the yarn store that I went to, they didn't have any. And that was fine. I bought a US 7 and I knit it, and it's great. And I like how airy it is. But I still kind of wanted to have the US 6. And a sweet knitting podcast Instagram friend, Mia from Knit and Grace, she reached out and said she would just send me a pair of hers because she has so many. And that was so kind of her to do. And I received them. And the best thing is that I actually used them to make these sleeves. So I knit this in a US 5, but for my sleeves, I ended up using a US 6 for this bottom section because I had received some comments on a video about my ranunculus that perhaps in my sleeve circumference, like small circumference knitting, my gauge was too tight, and that's why my sleeves were always too tight. And so I decided to go up the needle size. Mia had sent me that super short circumference knitting needle. It was perfect. Yeah, I forgot to say that. So I love how that worked out, and I will be using that one for my next hat because I previously had been doing magic loop for all my hats, and that was just not very fun. So anyway, hat completed. Very happy. More hats to come in the future. I'm hoping to make Ollie one like this, but he got some blue yarn. Okay, now I have another finished object. It was finished last time, but it was not blocked. I have been really relaxed about completing all of my knits. Relaxed or slightly stressed. I'm not sure which one. But recently I had a weave in the ends and blocking party for myself to complete my knits. So my hat and this both were unblocked, ends woven in, all of that, and this as well. And so it's blocked, and it is ends woven in, ready for pictures. My son was so cute. He saw blocking and he was like, "Ooh, this is for me." And I told him yes, and he said he loved it. And so I'm hoping because he saw it, me making it, he saw me blocking it, maybe he will enjoy wearing it. He has tried it on and he liked it, but yeah, I hope so. This is my newly named Passport Pullover, and it is a pattern coming out in early September, which is exciting, but also means I really need to complete all of the things for that pattern to be launched. But here's my other sample. I've shared this often. I need to cut the ends off of this one because they're just hanging out. But this is a children's pattern. It's for babies and children. I always include both in my sizing. It is genderless, and what else? It's knit in a heavier weight yarn. So this was probably heavy worsted. You could also use Aran weight, I believe. Some of my knitters did. And I used Purl Soho Goodwill held together. The intention is for it to use up yarn in your yarn pantry or any yarn you already have. That's why there's stripes. A lot of my knitters have also marled theirs, which is super cute. Or they've done like different colored stripes throughout I just happen to have enough in my yarn pantry, so it doesn't necessarily look super scrappy. But some of my test knitters have done that, so you'll be able to see that version as well. I named it the Passport Pullover because I have really been inspired lately by, especially when knitting for kids, the generosity and kindness of knitters as they share their knits with people that they love. And oftentimes those people are not, living next door. A lot of times the finished objects that we make travel, whether that's in a suitcase or in a, UPS box or whatever, they travel and they go places that we may not be able to. And a lot of my test knitters gift knit as well. And so seeing them share their knits with people they love that are across the world, across the country, it's just inspiring to me. And so that is kind of the intention behind the name, that yarn is like a passport and it can connect us and share love that we may not be able to bring ourselves. So even if I can't, bring this new sweater to someone that I love, I can send it and the yarn will be like, a hug from me. And so really a lot of credit to that goes to my test knitters for being so inspiring, but also just the knitting community in general and knitting for kids. It's just really, really special to see. So anyway, if you're not interested in kids knits, that's totally fine. You can just, skip this part. But yes, I think that's all the info. I will put the project page up on Ravelry so you can go ahead and save it to your favorites and look for it in September. Okay, those are my finished objects. Now I have some works in progress. I will share my little Mouche and Friends updates because those are the cutest updates. I am almost done. I have finished the clothes and the little animals. I just finished up these pants. My son tried to try them on. He was like, "Oh, I like these little pants." And I said, "Buddy, they might be too small." And he's like, "Oh, let's see." So he got one foot in. But this is my first time doing slip stitch color work. And I think it's beautiful. They're unblocked, so it's a little wonky. But look at the inside. I don't know. There we go. Like, it's so intricate. And this took me about 2 evenings to make. So it was like maybe 4 hours of work into these little pants. There's a little tail hole for the tail. But they're super cute. And I think when I block them, they'll look even better. And what else? I'm trying to think what else I finished since my last time. This little sweater, very cute. This goes with the pants. Very cute. I think that the pig will be wearing this. And I wove in all the ends for the clothes. So I have been waiting to like weave in all the ends and do the finishing all together, but I realized if I didn't start doing it, I would just like feel anxious about it and put it off for a long time. I haven't put the buttons on these yet because I want to block them first before I put the buttons on, but they'll have buttons and then little overalls or dungarees maybe. Let's see what other clothes. Oh yes, this dress, very cute little dress. I sewed the straps down. Again, unblocked, but nonetheless adorable. This was actually the inspiration for this sweater. I hadn't thought to do pink and gold together, but when I saw this yarn together, the yarn combo that I was sent for this sample knit, I was like, oh my goodness, I love it. I love this pink and gold. And so that is why I was inspired to put the pink and the white with this gold for the stripes. So thank you to Aggie the sheep for inspiring me to use some yarn and put these colors together. Okay, the last one I'm working on now, I think this is my last thing besides blocking and finishing, stuffing all the animals, is Aggie's little loopy vest. So if you've seen anything from Mouche and Friends, you will have seen this vest. And it's super cute and ruffly, and this is about 2 to 3 hours of work. maybe I'm really slow at these little intricate knits, but this is taking me forever. They have taken me like considerably longer than say knitting something like this in fingering weight, but I think it's just the detail on, you know, these little things, making these little loopies takes me a long time. So I thought like, oh, I'm gonna finish this up so fast. I just have the little vest left. But then I started making it. It will be a while. I'm hoping to really double down this weekend since I am feeling well, and like I can use that to like work on something that actually takes up some energy, some brain energy, to finish this up and send it back to Seattle where it will live in its little home. Yeah, I haven't sewn the eyes on yet, but I wove in the ends and did all of that. And he's ready to be blocked, and his little clothes, I think, so he's gonna be wearing these overalls. Yeah, very cute. Okay, that is my little stuffy update. Hopefully, I mean, yeah, I gotta finish them in August, so they'll be done next time I see you. Okay, last week I talked about a new cast on. I am using my Peace Fleece from my yarn pantry, and it is Negotiation Gray, and I'm doing the Seela sweater by Laine magazine. There's a knit along going right now, and I joined that, although I don't think I've posted any pictures since I cast on. I'm gonna grab it. So it's kind of been I haven't been knitting it a ton lately. I thought I would knit it super quickly because it is such a heavyweight garment and it would go super fast and all of that. But I've run into a couple of snags. I shared last time that the yarn has a distinct smell to it. I think it's just from being zipped in a bag for like 2 years. I don't really know. So I washed the third skein that I had, and I soaked it overnight. I washed it and I let it dry out in the sun, and it got rained on a little bit, and then I let it dry more in the sun. And it smells great. Yeah, there's no weird smell. So I just need to, I had already like cast on with this yarn, and so I wanted to like knit it all and then wash the sweater and block it and then add this one. But I have like low motivation to knit it because I'm like, ooh, it kind of smells a little weird. So it's going a little slower than I'd hoped. But I did recently split for the sleeves, and so yeah, this is the front. It's really large. I'm knitting the smallest size, but the ease it has, for me, it will have about 12 inches of ease. And my main concern when I split was for the sleeves. So I ended up not even increasing to the full sleeve. The smallest size has a sleeve circumference of 20 inches, which is significantly more than I'm used to. And I also don't like things to be super tight nor super large on my upper arm, because that's just a sticking point for me. And so I'm not sure, like this is significant. So what I think I'm going to do is go back to the body split, and I think, so it had me cast on 8 stitches. I think I'm gonna go back and take, see this, I think I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna take both of these raglan seams and put them on the body, and then cast on maybe 4 stitches for the underarm instead. And that will change the body ease as well, but I'm not overly concerned because I know that it's already gonna have significant ease. And so what's, you know, 2 out of 12 inches, I'm not set on it looking a certain way. And so yeah, also slightly concerned that I will run out of yarn because I don't know, it's just turning out to be a lot of yarn. And I don't have more in my yarn pantry. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back, just have to convince myself to do it. Go back and make the sleeves a little smaller. And I think by moving those raglan seams down too, it will be okay. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be a super quick project, like it was gonna be like 2 weeks or something, but then I just haven't had the motivation to work on it. Instead, I made this. But anyway, yeah, I'm not concerned because the yarn that got washed and stuff is fine, but currently I'm like, I don't really want to knit it very much. And I think it's making my husband sneeze. Okay, more works in progress. I have my Gaon Cardigan. This is where I'm at. This is the front panel. I don't really have any updates. I think this is about where I was last time, but I've been doing about five or 6 rows. I think 6 rows a day, because that's about an inch, almost an inch. Maybe 8 would be better, but 6 is where I'm at right now. 2, 4, 6. That looks like about an inch every day, so that I'm making some progress on it, but it's not a ton, which is fine. Again, it's okay. I'm telling myself it's okay. I'm not super rushed, but I want to do a little bit every day, so that I am making some progress on it. I can't wait to wear it. I'm very excited. At some point, maybe next week, I'm going to go back and go through like what I actually made, what I planned to make, and what I actually made this first half of the year. I know August is like the 8th month, so I'm a little behind. Okay, let me know if you'd like to see a fall and winter plans video. I am not sure if I am going to make those, just because fall and winter knitting is so exciting. It's so easy, and I like don't have to really like search YouTube for a lot of ideas, just because there are so many ideas out there. But let me know if you think that might be like fun to see what I'm making. I do already have my plan set, but yeah, I don't know. I do have a sample knit mixed in there, but that will be exciting to show you as well. I don't have acquisitions this week, but I did sell a lot of yarn recently. I just put it on my Instagram stories. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, because I might just sell some more. But it felt really nice to let go of some of the yarn that had been in my yarn pantry for a very long time. If you're new to my YouTube channel, I decided not to buy any more yarn this year because I have a lot in my yarn pantry already. And I wanted to kind of come to terms with that before I start buying a lot of yarn again in the next year, which I definitely plan to do. I have like a list of all the yarns that I've really wanted this year, and I've come so close to buying. It's not like a hard and fast thing, because like we're going on a trip later this year, and I'm definitely going to buy some yarn on our trip, but just trying to use some yarn that I already have. But there's some yarn in there that, like I said earlier, it just wasn't enough for a sweater for me anymore, or it had been there for so long I had lost inspiration in it. And so I decided to let go of some of that this last week and sell it on my Instagram, and definitely some discount, because I kind of wanted it to go. A lot of it was from test knits that didn't work out, or yeah, just like sales that I got and then I didn't end up using the yarn. So that was super fun, because I love seeing, you know, yarn go to new owners, and then also I can't wait to see what is made with it. So my yarn pantry is looking a little slim. My mom came over the other day and she opened it and she was like, "Oh, you don't have a lot of yarn in here," which I do have a lot of yarn in here, but it was nice of her to say that. And it looks like maybe I actually have made some progress on using my yarn. I feel like I haven't. Every time I go in there, I'm like, all this yarn is still here, but my sorter's quantities are really low now. I think I just have like maybe three or 4. And some of those are not, like ones for my husband. And so yeah, it's a lot of it is just leftover from projects. I have some leftover of this. So those kinds of things I'm trying not to let like stress me out, and also not include them when I think, oh, I have so much yarn, because it's not going to make a sweater. It probably wouldn't even make a hat. So I'm just going to save it for like stripes or something, or like for my son. As he gets older, he might want something out of it. So anyway, that felt really good to let some of that yarn go, and with the hope that I will be restocking yarn soon. I think what I want for my knitting practice in the next year is to do more of seeing a pattern, researching yarn, and then buying the yarn and making it then when the yarn comes. In the past, I've done a lot of just kind of waiting for yarn sales, buying yarn from sales, and then holding it and then making sweaters from it. That's worked really, really well in the past like 3 years, but I think in the future, I want to have more of a yarn comes in, it's made, and then it's, you know, it's being worn. Okay, I think that's all I have today. Felt like a lot. It looks like it's going to be another long one. My last video was, I think, over 30 minutes, which is really long for me. Usually they're like 20. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get some cooler weather in the next couple of weeks. And then I will be really inspired to knit some fall makes. So happy knitting. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're working on. Bye.